Your codependency is ruining everything. So how you can change, my friend? How to change? How to transition from codependency, going through the bridge of self-sufficiency, and then arriving in an interdependent relationship which serves for the greatest benefit of all. This is the topic we are going to discuss in today's video. So if you're new to the channel, also subscribe to the Soulful Relationships with Danny, because in this channel, well, you learn everything about conscious, uplifting, and meaningful relationships, and most importantly, how to surround yourself with people who support and lift you up, only with this kind of people. That being the case, let's directly get into the topic. Hey there, I am Daniel, a relationship alignment coach and a creator of the Soulful Relationships Experience, a 3 to 4 month one-on-one coaching program that helps you completely eradicate any toxic, codependent, destructive, narcissistic, power struggle relationship dynamics, heal yourself, heal the pain from the past, and surround yourself only with people who support and lift you up, by also allowing yourself to date consciously so that you can meet the partner of your dreams. That being the case, well, now let's investigate why your codependency is ruining everything and how you can change and shift it. So, first of all, what is codependency? Like, let's give it a brief definition. What is it? So, codependency, it basically presumes that you need the other to survive. So it's like you cannot live without the other. And what makes codependency a fact is, let's say you are afraid, deep on the inside, you are afraid of loss, of handling loss, losing somebody who loves you and is there for you. You're also afraid of abandonment. And it's like you're afraid of being alone, and maybe you're looking for your partner to save you. Like, you're trying to run away from this feeling of loneliness, and you're looking for your partner to save you. And that's why you're willing to do everything in your power to keep them in your life, which makes you dependent on them. So you become codependent. You're dependent on somebody else. You're not being self-sufficient by yourself. You're dependent on somebody else. So let's look at some of the signs, or like some of the symptoms of codependency, because the more understanding you have of it, the easier it is to transition to self-sufficiency, and at the end experience interdependency, which is basically what you want if you're looking for a long-term committed romantic relationship, and generally having relationships with your friends, colleagues, family that support and lift you up. So codependency is basically based on trauma bonding. So what most likely happens in your romantic relationships is that you're trauma bonded to your romantic partner. So it's really chaotic. It's like a soap opera. It's like full of drama. And there is like, you're always getting together and then separating, and then getting together back again and then separating. And maybe this has been going on for years. Or maybe you're attracting narcissists. And by the way, if you want to go deeper into empath and narcissist dynamics, I have a whole playlist you can check out. You can find it in the description below, about how narcissists and empaths attract each other, and like why this is actually beneficial. So what is trauma bonding again? Well, you're attracted to somebody based, like, coming from your wound of abandonment. Now, what is the wound of abandonment? The wound of abandonment assumes that you cannot live a fulfilled life just by yourself, and you need another to always be there for you, to always cater your needs, take care of your needs, to always please you in a way, to always like support you, to always nothing wrong with support, by the way, to always like help you ease and be relaxed whenever you feel emotionally disturbed. So trauma bonding, it comes from the wound of abandonment. And like most of the time, the wound of abandonment, the strategy that our ego develops to, like, in a way, go around this wound of abandonment instead of taking responsibility to heal it, is that we start people pleasing, right? So we start neglecting our own needs. we start compromising our own values, and we always want to meet the expectations of others. Sometimes even when we feel emotionally overwhelmed and we've already taken a lot of burden on our shoulders that we carry, but we try to always be there for others, because if we are not there for others, then maybe the worst will happen and they will understand that we are not a good person. We're not like somebody who is kind-hearted, who is willing to care for others. And that's why we want to always try to save others before saving ourselves. So this is what makes you codependent. This is what makes you attract codependent relationships and partners. Another interesting sign of like codependent relationships is this cycle of victim perpetrator. So in every relationship, you're either the victim or the perpetrator. So there isn't balance. You're always the one who is, let's say, if you're the victim, you're always the one who is only giving and giving and giving and giving and giving, and you're never allowing yourself, giving yourself the permission to receive, to express your needs. And here I'm talking about mostly emotionally. You're emotionally investing in that relationship, and you find yourself that you're, let's say, investing 80% and your partner is investing 20%. And so it's like you become the victim, he's the perpetrator, he's almost using you. So again, it's like maybe you attract narcissistic partners. And now this, most of the time, this comes from the fear of conflict. So when we are afraid of handling conflict, of like facing conflict eyes to eyes, we try to run away from any negative feelings in our interpersonal relationships. And we try to hide, we try to avoid conflict altogether. And so we are never able to be transparent with our feelings and express our needs to our partner. And so we always assume that he should understand us, but we are never courageous enough to express what we want. And what happens is that we always assume that we can rely to our partner when he doesn't know what we need from them. And so in a way, we become a little bit naive and hopeful that he can read our minds without us being transparent with our needs. And we're afraid of conflict because, let's say, we express our needs and he rejects them, and like he sees that we're asking too much, and this wouldn't make us feel good, right? And so we better not express that than to express it and be rejected, which again perpetuates the cycle of codependency. So this is really important to understand, because when you understand that this victim perpetrator cycle dynamic comes from the fear of conflict, not only, but this is part of it, then you can accept the worst case. So what would you experience if conflict was inevitable? If it was inevitable that you would have different interests with your partner on a certain topic that you're discussing, and like what if inevitably you would be rejected from time to time? But what if you also had the courage to express that? And what if you had boundaries in place? Then it becomes interesting. So another like sign of codependency is that you are afraid of manipulation. You're afraid that all people are narcissists. You're afraid maybe everybody cares of themselves, and like you're being a little bit cynical, and it's like you have a nihilistic view of the world. You think that everybody is there to get their needs met, and people don't care about others. So everybody like is there to manipulate you, to get something out of you. And so when you're deeply afraid of that, of manipulation, right? So when you're deeply afraid of that, when you're a woman, you try to mother your partner because you don't see them as being mature enough to take care of your needs. Or when you're a man, then it's like part of you is afraid that women are more than you, and so it's like you never deserve their love. And this is like a true story. I've experienced something like that when I was healing this wound, this shadow masculine, which is maybe a topic for another video. But so it's like you always try to, in a way, prove yourself worthy to your partner so that you can be worthy of their love. And you're not loving them and taking care of them and like providing safety and security for their own needs, so that because you love them. You're doing this because you want to feel safe in that relationship, because you always feel not enough, right? And it's like you want to prove to yourself that you're worthy of your partner's love, which never works out. And so you become codependent again. Now, these are some of the signs. And if you realize some of these signs in your relationships, then, my friend, it becomes your responsibility to heal, doesn't it? So it becomes your responsibility to investigate some of your feelings, to investigate some of your patterns, like thought patterns, behavioral patterns. And if you want to go deeper into that, I would highly suggest you check out the free training I have. The 3 phases you need to master until you surround yourself with only people who support and lift you up. It's like a 2-hour long training that will give you all the tools you need to start healing. And it's a process you can take and apply it on yourself. So it's really powerful and really valuable. You can find it in the description, register for it, it's free. If you're on that path, definitely give it a try. So, okay, now we understood what is codependency. But so, how do we transition to interdependency? And in the beginning of the video, I told you about passing through the breach of self-sufficiency. You remember, right? So, what does that mean? Well, it means that what you think you need from your partner to feel fulfilled within yourself, now you need to learn to give that to yourself. So if you need someone to always care for your negative feelings and to help you ease and relax, well, then you need to become that parent. You need to become, let's say, the mother who you were lacking when you were growing up as a child. And you need to, whenever you feel negative, whenever you feel triggered, you need to have more patience, have more compassion, self-compassion towards your own feelings, to understand where they are coming from. What do you believe about yourself and others that makes you feel that way? And so you need to start giving yourself what you need from your partner. So let's say if you're looking for company and you feel alone and you don't want to accept that aloneness, and you feel lonely. So, well, maybe you wanna get yourself on a walk, like get yourself to a restaurant, get yourself to a movie, and start giving yourself the company you need so that you become self-sufficient in that. And by becoming self-sufficient, you are giving yourself what you crave from the relationship with your partner. And so you are diffusing, you're letting go of that codependency. And this is the path, this is the bridge you need to pass through to become interdependent. Now, what is interdependency? This is another curious topic, right? So if we want to let go of our codependency and become interdependent in our relationships, meaning that, because self-sufficiency can also be toxic. Self-sufficiency sometimes assumes that I am so self-sufficient and I'm so independent from others that I don't need others in my life. And I will always be there for myself, but I will never be able to trust other people again, which is again toxic if you think about it. Because we are social creatures, right? And we have social needs. We have the need of company. We have the need of love. We have the need of sharing our world with somebody else. We have the need to care and love somebody else, as the same we want somebody else to care and love us back. So yeah, we are social creatures, and by being social creatures living in a planet with 7 billion people, well, assuming that you can always be there for yourself, but not also be there for yourself when you're in a relationship with another, can become a little bit toxic. That's why self-sufficiency is the bridge you pass through, but you don't root yourself, you don't ground yourself on that bridge. You actually go back into relationships now to become interdependent. So what does it mean to be interdependent? Let's discuss this for a while. So interdependency means that, well, you give yourself permission to ask for space when you need it. So it's like you're not relying on your partner to always be there for you, because this way you'll be dependent on him, you'll be codependent on him. But sometimes you might need space for yourself, and you have the courage to ask for that space without assuming that you will lose your partner, right? Because now your relationship isn't based on codependency, on you being addicted to one another, trauma bonded. No, now your relationship is also about having respect to one another's healing journey. So another way to look at interdependency is that two not fully healed partners, people, learning to love and co-regulate one another beyond survival mode. So instead of always depending on your partner, you learn to love them for who they are, with all their negative traits and all their all their vices and all their virtues. And they do the same. They learn to love you with all their vices and all your virtues, with all your vices and all your virtues. So you accept each other's humanness, right? And that's why sometimes you need space. And by giving each other space for 2 days, this doesn't mean that something is wrong in your relationship. No, this means that you just need the space to contemplate with yourself, to let go of some feelings, let's say, to realize how some of your emotional patterns work, and like how some of your behavioral patterns and defense mechanisms work, so that once you get that deeper understanding, then you can go back to that relationship and communicate with your partner some of your shadow sides, because now they know you better. And this is, to give you an example, this is something that for me in my dating life currently, it started becoming really natural. Like when I'm dating somebody, in the first 1 or 2 dates, I let them know of all my worst vices and my worst character traits. I want them to know that sometimes I become a little bit manipulative and a little bit arrogant. And I want them to know that about me, to make their choice whether they want to proceed in a relationship with me or not. And I'm like, it's okay for me to communicate that clearly, even though it's not something positive, right? Because I know that I'm working on that. I'm healing. And so when I'm healing, it's okay for my partner to know that, if I want them to be my partner. And so I can tell you how much easier this makes the dating process, because it becomes really conscious, really transparent. And I also like communicate what are my gifts with the person I'm dating. So it becomes, again, really effortless. So, okay, asking for space when you need it. So because this is how you heal the inner child. The inner child is the one that is, let's say, being a little bit stubborn, that always assumes, that doesn't want to be genuine and honest. And so, like, by giving yourself space to be with yourself in a relationship, you allow that inner child to be there and to build your relationship with it. So, by the way, if you are new to inner child work, you can check out the video I have on how to heal your inner child, how to work with your inner parents to give your inner child what it was lacking, how it was neglected when you were growing up. Because if it were neglected, what it were neglected about, this would reflect in your relationships and it would create a lot of problems. So you need to give your inner child some space in which it can speak to yourself, let you know what the inner child needs, and so you can provide for its needs, instead of always looking for your partner to save you. So this is one of the points. Another point, well, we already discussed that, but you're giving yourself what you crave from your partner. This again happens in the moments you're asking for space. Now, another thing you can do to change your codependency is to like make transparency, honesty, and vulnerability a priority. Like make these your standards, your values. And so only open yourself emotionally and date people who are willing to be transparent, vulnerable, and honest, because you become transparent, vulnerable, and honest. And you need your partner to be like that, so that you can explore an interdependent relationship with them, right? And once you make these values a priority, a standard, then you can have your boundaries. You can express your boundaries. You can express where are your limits? What are you not tolerating? Let's say I don't tolerate my partner to be close to me for more than 6 hours. This is the most time I would tolerate them being close. And if they're close, like I would work within myself, because if I did something wrong, I would see within myself what was it that I was doing wrong, and then I would go back and communicate that clearly, honestly, transparently. And when I do that, I give them the permission to open up emotionally, because I value so much this like sharing together, this mutual sharing of our emotions and our feelings. And that's what transparency looks like, communicating your boundaries and also expressing your needs clearly. So I need my partner to be there for me. I don't need them to mother me, but I need them to be there for me, the same way I would be there for them. And this is natural. And so I express that need. And so if they're not willing to be there for me, well, I give them some space. I am being patient, but it's something that I don't tolerate for long. So it's like, since I'm doing this inner work, I also want my partner to do that inner work. And this is how we become interdependent. And now interdependency is really healthy, my friend. It's really, really healthy. Now let me give you an example with a client I worked with a while ago. She's called Ellie. Her name is Ellie. And so she was at the bridge on the edge of a divorce. She was about to make a divorce, to divorce her husband because she was codependent on him. He was the one providing for her family, but she wasn't having this emotional depth and intimacy with him. And so she almost felt that he was the only one investing in her relationship, and he became indifferent to her, and she didn't have any emotional intimacy with him. And so she almost felt useless in that relationship. And eventually she realized that she wasn't expressing with her husband her boundaries and her needs. And so by us starting to work together, she was able to connect to her boundaries and needs, express them clearly to her husband, and now she was able to provide to her the emotional intimacy and depth she was looking for from the relationship. And she also started providing her like more feminine traits to that relationship. So instead of just looking for for their children, she was now also being there for her husband when he was overwhelmed, when he was like working a lot. And now the intimacy between them reignited again. And this happened in the span of 3 months by her learning how to open up to her feelings on the inside and how to communicate her feelings to her partner transparently. And so they didn't go through a divorce. And now they are so happy and fulfilled as a couple. And it's so beautiful. This is what working with your boundaries and needs look like. This is what it helps you achieve and experience. So if you're new to that, by the way, my friend, you can check out in the description. I have a 3 questions healthy boundary framework. It's like a inner work process you can try for yourself to discover and connect to your boundaries, to your needs, and to your gifts, and then learn how you can communicate them transparently with people around you so that they become a standard. And now you're able to embody and to like integrate transparency in your relationships. And by doing so, you can reignite the lack of intimacy that you experienced. So, and I'm not talking only in your romantic relationships. I'm also talking about reigniting emotional intimacy in all your interpersonal relationships, meaning with your friends, with your family, with your colleagues at work, wherever. So it's really powerful working with transparency and becoming interdependent in your relationships. So anyways, this was everything I wanted to share in this video right now, my friends. So if you found it useful, if you found it valuable, and I trust you found it valuable, like it, comment down below, let me know what is your experience transitioning from codependency, passing through the bridge of self-sufficiency, and then experiencing interdependency. What is your experience on that? Where are you on that process? Let me know what's your story in the comments below. I would highly enjoy having this conversation with you. And yeah, if you're also new to the channel, subscribe to it, smash the like button, smash the bell icon here to get notifications for new videos, because in this channel, well, all the content I produce will help you to experience your most conscious, uplifting, and meaningful relationships. So if this is something valuable for you, subscribe to the channel, and I would love to see you around. That being said, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for staying with me until the end. I love you, my friend. See you around in the next video. Bye-bye for now. Enjoy your day.